One of my favorite challenges that I've ever done was minimum turns of Paper Mario 64. It's a huge knowledge check on all the ways that you can optimize the game to a hilarious degree. When I made that video, I had the help of some of the most knowledgeable Paper Mario 64 players to help me make the route. But when it comes to Sticker Star, there's kinda not anyone else but me. So today, I'm gonna see if I can find the definitive answer as to what the minimum number of required turns is to beat Paper Mario Sticker Star. There are a few ground rules I need to go over. The turn count goes up as soon as I take my action for the turn. But if I kill an enemy on their turn, such as with a spiky helmet, then that counts as the same turn, thus not adding 1 to the turn counter. That's basically the only rule we have, so let's go ahead and start. The game starts with us getting smacked by Bowser and we land in Decalburg Square. While here, we begin saving some toads and grab some of the few stickers that are available to us. The shop doesn't have anything fancy for us until later in the game, so let's go ahead and head out of Decalburg. Oh, alright, we've got our first battle. These 3 Goombas are obviously not a difficult fight, but we do run into a little problem. These guys are already gonna force me to take 2 turns to kill them. Thankfully, we have the hammer that allows us to kill 2 of them at once, but there's no way to kill all 3 in a single turn. So 2 turns on the first fight. I mean, that's not that bad. In my Paper Mario 64 video, my first 4 battles took a total of 15 turns. 2 turns is fine. We head to 1-1 and run into a toad who gives us our first thing sticker. This sticker is immediately used for its scripted use in the Bowser Jr. fight to defeat him in 1 turn. After defeating Bowser Jr., I continue on and find the scissors in thing form. I then immediately run into another group of 3 Goombas, and this time they're folded into cones that are spiny. But I wouldn't have wanted to jump on them anyway because that's slow. That only hits 1 guy. We have hammers. If we do things the same way that we did before, this will be another 2-turn fight. But up to this point, there isn't really any new ways for us to deal with all the enemies in a single turn. The only upgrade we've gotten is a shiny hammer, but that doesn't increase the area of effect of our hammer, just the damage itself. So again, we are seemingly stuck at 2 turns with these guys, as we haven't found anything else to help us. Except, we found this paperization spot located right after Bowser Jr. Paperization allows us to place objects back into the world, but there are a few specific locations, generally marked by a stump or pink flowers, where you can place any normal size sticker inside. This uses the sticker to create a question mark block that holds another type of sticker based on the sticker you put into it. At this point, we have access to basic hammer and jump stickers, which give us a few upgraded things. Okay, well, not things, those are different. It can give us a few stickers like shiny jumps and shiny hammers. But again, shiny hammers don't really help us, even if we got it up to the flashy version. But there are 2 other kinds of stickers that we have available to us at this point, both of which can be useful in this situation. The first is the mushroom, which can be bought from the Decalburg store from the earliest point in the game. Kirsty also gives us a few of them during the first Goomba fight. The mushroom can be slowly turned into a shiny leaf after a few lucky iterations, and the shiny leaf can be turned into like just about everything. But many of the stickers it turns into are still not useful, so it would be a slim chance to get anything that I would want. So instead, I go to Decalburg and find the Bah Hammer sticker that is hidden in the back corner. The Bah Hammer can only turn into a Burn Hammer, a Chill Hammer, or a Pow Block. A base level Pow Block doesn't do enough damage to kill the full Goomba fight, but both the Burn Hammer and the Chill Hammer do more than enough damage to take out the entire fight in 1 turn with a 20 damage hit to all enemies. We finish the level and head into World 1-2. Here we find the fan thing, and we run into 2 Goombas beating up a toad. Obviously, I can't fight these guys because that would add to my turn count, but I do still want to save the toad, so I pay them 20 coins instead. This runs them off, and the toad gives me a Cat-a-Luck thing. After saving toad number 38, we run into a group of 5 Goombas. Now while we could use another elemental hammer, I gain access to something even better here, the Battle Spinner. This allows me to use 3 stickers per turn. This means for battles like this, I can just use like 2 or 3 hammer stickers to win. Or just another elemental hammer. With that, we finish the level. Going into World 1-3, we run into another toad that hands us a 3rd page for our sticker album, allowing us to hold even more stickers. And then, Kamek shows up to ruin my day. Kamek shows up with 2 Goombas as his minions of choice. He probably should have chosen a bit better. At this point, we have access to Sling-A-Thing, which is probably the greatest thing for this challenge because it means we have access to Thing stickers now. And since the scissors are pretty good and pretty easy to come by, I don't really care about using them here. And because of that, I use them to take out Kamek and his 2 Goombas in a single turn. Kamek throws away the comet piece that we are after, and we're forced to go find it. During our search, I pull the faucet from a precarious location and then finish the level. Now at this point it'd be a little cliche if I were to ask you to, subscribe, so I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to ask you to use my Fortnite creator code in the Fortnite item shop. This isn't a joke, by the way, I actually do have a code in the item shop. Now the next level is World 1-4. This level doesn't have much in terms of upgrades for us, but it does have 4 seemingly required fights. These 3 Buzzy Beetles that block the path of the toad you saved to get the code for the windmill, and the big Buzzy Beetle at the end of the level. This is detrimental to us. 4 required battles in a single level is so much. Now, the 3 Buzzy Beetles can be skipped because you don't actually need to rescue the toad to finish the level, because the code that he gives you is the same every time you play the game. But that still leaves the big Buzzy Beetle. This is a fight that you must do to beat this level, and there isn't even a fancy glitch that you can do to skip it. Well, yeah, that's true, but there's a completely intended way to skip this guy. This uses one of my favorite mechanics of this game, not playing it. By skipping the grabbing of the comet piece scrap, I can take the secret exit of 1-3 by jumping through this waterfall, and can go to World 1-5. And there are no required combats here. I kill the Lakitu for fun with a star, and then knock down a bunch of set pieces to get a gate piece, and then reach the end of the level. This allows us to completely skip 1-4 and the 4 fights it holds. And now, we are on World 1-6, the boss level. We have to do some serious dodging of enemies in this level, but the Bob-Bombs only deal damage to us and don't put us into combat, so we don't have to worry about taking any turns on them. But the various Goombas around here are a bit more difficult. These Goombas on the bridges at the start of the level and right before the boss are a bit difficult to get past. They kinda seem like you can't really pass them, but they're actually fairly easy to just jump over and skip completely. So, all that's left at this point is the boss of the world. The Mega Sparkle Goomba is a pretty interesting fight for this early. It is a boss that is made up of 3 separate phases. His first phase has him and all of the rest of the Goombas separate from each other on the ground. The second phase involves them all coming together to form one large Goomba, and his final phase is just the main Goomba by himself at 1 HP. Now this is cause for some issues. This guy has 90 health. On top of that, he also has the 1/4 damage reduction that all world bosses get. This means that we basically would need to deal 360 damage to this guy in a single turn. Thing stickers don't have to deal with a damage reduction, instead just doing full damage. Now, getting him into his second phase isn't that hard, as we can pretty easily deal enough damage to him by crumpling him with a POW block bingo, and then using something like a scissors thing sticker to deal upwards of 60 damage in a single sticker. But the issue arises in the next phase, as him swapping phases gets rid of the crumple effect, and we can only deal upwards of 40 damage in the first turn due to there being a damage cap. The best option available at the moment would only deal about 40 damage. So what can we do at this point? Well, an obvious solution is to skip ahead to future worlds, as this game allows you to do so once you get to 1-5 and 1-6 to get poison mushrooms and the trumpet. But that's boring. Of course we can win by going and getting super OP stuff from later worlds, but I want to beat this guy now. So what options do we have? Well, do you remember those paperization blocks? And do you remember how they are pretty cool because they give us access to some better stickers? Well, what if I told you they can get the most broken stickers in the game? We already used it to get the best hammer sticker in the game, but if we go up the crafting tree of literally any jump sticker, we can gain access to the 2 best jump stickers, the Clone Jump and the Infinijump. And this early Infinijump is how we can deal with this fight. Well, actually these 2 early Infinijumps. So in his first phase, I jump on him 40 times, putting him into phase 2. Phase 2, I do the exact same thing, jumping on him another 50 times. Then, I smack him with my hammer to deal with the final 1 HP phase. And so, the Mega Sparkle Goomba goes down in a single turn. This gives us another page in our sticker book and our first royal sticker. Now at this point, we have a choice to make. We can either go to World 2 or to World 3. World 2 has a large number of thing stickers around that I can pick up to bolster my damage output for future fights. This would seem like a good option, as it is also just the normal way to play the game, but actually the next best world to go to is World 3. This world also has some solid things for us to turn into stickers, but can also give us access to a very powerful tool that we can use later. So for now, let's just see what we can do in this new chapter. Before leaving 1-6, I make sure to grab the trumpet thing, so I can use it to wake up Wiggler and continue into World 3. In 3-1, Wiggler gets taken from us, but we continue on as if nothing happened. After a bit of exploring, we run into the 2 boomerang bros. These guys have a decent bit of health, having 24 each, but even so, we can still pretty easily deal with them with a couple of good hammer stickers. 3-2 has literally nothing in terms of battles right now, so after definitely not going the wrong way once, I reach the end of the level. 3-3 is simply the hub area of World 3. This is Wiggler's house, and Wiggler is inside. But he's absolutely broken up about us leaving him behind earlier. So, we begin to find his missing pieces, and Wiggler makes sure to let us know that it would be pretty not great for us to hurt his segments. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, I got you. Before I leave, I make sure to grab the high heel and the boombox things, both of which are very solid thing stickers. 3-4 is also another level in which we don't have to do any combats. Instead, we search through to find the Wiggler piece a few times and then finish the level before finding his last hiding spot to just be a bit faster. 3-5 is also pretty chill in terms of battles. I mean, we are on the 5th level of the world and we've only run into one fight at this point. I thought World 3 would be bad because of how many levels there are, but I guess it's pretty chill. Oh, we're gonna have to hurt these guys, aren't we? Well, sorry Wiggler. The battles against Wiggler pieces can definitely be pretty annoying, as they can dodge most basic sticker attacks. But seeing as this is a theoretical minimum turns video, I don't really care about this dodge aspect because I can just reset if they dodge. So I hit him with a fire flower and add one more turn to the counter. Before leaving, I grab a piece of scrap and place it back in Wiggler's house to get us to the next level. In the next level, we find another Wiggler segment, but he falls into a pit. And after we jump in after him, we lose literally all of our stuff. Kirsty, hammer, and stickers. This isn't great because it means we don't have that many options while down here. While basically every combat in this area can be skipped with the use of the power star, there's one that is not skippable. The single scuttlebug is quite possibly the worst enemy in this entire challenge. As we've learned from previous playthroughs, this scuttlebug lives on a web that requires 4 individual hits to break. This will then cause the scuttlebug to fall, allowing it to be killed on the next turn. But since we don't have many resources since we lost them all, we can only deal with the web by using things like POW blocks, fire flowers, and shells. We could maybe use something like an eek hammer, but we don't have our hammer either right now, as it was one of the things we dropped when falling down the hole. So at this point, what's the play? The way this level works is that all of the stickers that you find scattered across the ground and walls actually come from what your sticker book had when you fell down the hole. So now I need to figure out, is there any way to deal with this spider web any faster than with what we have that is very easily available? Like, are there any stickers that hit multiple times? I mean, that could be useful to get past them. There is one sticker that hits multiple times that is not a jump or a hammer sticker. That sticker is the boomerang sticker that you get from the Boomerang Bros. While it usually looks like it only hits one enemy once, it actually hits grounded enemies once, and then flying enemies once. And weirdly enough, the spider web counts as both, meaning it gets hit twice with one sticker. So 2 of these bring the count down from 5 all the way down to 3. But there is one more thing available to get it down even further. And yeah, it's a thing. You're actually able to use the various scissors thing stickers to slice apart the web completely in a single turn. Meaning that we can then kill the scuttlebug on the next turn, taking it from a 5-turn fight all the way down to 2. After defeating the scuttlebug, I head over and save Kirsty, grab my hammer, and grab the Wiggler segment to end the level. So, I'm gonna be real with you guys, I don't know how this keeps happening. It happened in another one of my videos. I didn't get the footage of the next 2 levels, But just know the only fight that there was another Wiggler fight, which can just be dealt the same way as before. So after saving Wiggler from Snifter with it, he immediately runs back to the Bafflewood, and I actually know this path like the back of my hand, unlike the one I need to beat the level normally. So I run him down and enter battle with him and 2 Piranha Plants. This fight is easily taken care of with a single boomerang sticker though. After defeating the 3rd segment, I grab a bowling ball and bring Wiggler back to Wiggler. I then go turn the bowling ball into a sticker and use it to hit a sick strike. This allows me to reach 3-11. I see our last Wiggler segment here, but he gets taken away by 2 poison bloopers. So after not having any required battles in this level, I finish the level and head on to World 3-12, where I fight the last Wiggler piece. This fight involves the Wiggler segment and 2 poison bloopers. The fight isn't that hard, however, as even though Wiggler dodges the initial shell that I use, he can't dodge my explosion from a burn hammer. So, after defeating the segment, it runs to the docks. Before grabbing it, I go ahead and grab the vacuum and an HP up heart that is here. After grabbing the final Wiggler segment, I head back and reconnect it to the rest of Wiggler. And then, he takes us to the area that has the boss of the world. To prep for this battle, I grab a boombox, the high heels, and the water gun. And then I reach Cooper Blooper. On turn 1, I crumple him with a POW block bingo, making him take double damage for the rest of the turn. Then, I boost my damage with the boombox, making him take another 2 times damage, bringing it up to 4 times damage. I then use the high heal, and deal 224 damage. And then I finish him off with the water gun, which I realize now I probably could have just used on its own because it deals 380 damage on its own. With World 3 down, I go ahead and head back to World 2, because it would be weird to do all this stuff super out of order. So after putting all of the stickers into the door of 2-1, I go through, grab some sparkling water that claims it's soda, but I mean look at this stuff, it's like Sprite at best. Before leaving, I also make sure to grab one of the required puzzle pieces, and climb the pyramid to grab an HP up heart and finish the level. Our next stop is 2-2. The Yoshi Sphinx. Here we have a battle against these 3 paratroopas, the Shell Shock. This fight is very easy, however, as I just flatten them with my Cat of Luck. Before leaving the level, I go grab the light bulb from Yoshi's head, and grab the puzzle piece from this level as well. This puzzle piece is, however, blocked by Kamek. In his second battle against us, he turns all of our stickers into these practically useless slippers. Well, that's what Kamek wants us to think, but I can kinda just use a shiny slipper and one-shot him. And so, I get the puzzle pieces and finish the level. Then, we reach the Sand Shifter Ruins. Now genuinely, this level is one of, if not, my least favorite level in this entire game. Is that a hot take, by the way? I've seen many people say that they absolutely adore this level, and I genuinely just don't see it. It's like surgically crafted to waste as much of the player's time as possible, and it just isn't that fun. Anyway, there's 2 required fights in this level. The first is this spike that is just fully blocking the only correct path down. The second is this hammer bro that is also just fully blocking the path. And the worst part is that you have to go through this level 2 different times. And while I don't have to run into the hammer bro during the second run through, I do still have to fight this spike. And since enemies respawn every time you leave and re-enter a level, I can't just kill him the first time through to not deal with him the second time. I have to fight him twice. Except, he's actually skippable through a little bit of sneaky positioning and by using some immunity frames. You see, this game doesn't really like to push you off ledges when it's out of your control, and we can use this to our advantage. If we precisely step up in front of Spike onto this little ledge that he's on, we can get hit by his spike ball, which pushes us onto the edge of the tiny platform that we are on. Then, while I have the immunity frames from getting hit, I can just simply walk to the left and jump over him. So, this makes it possible to skip 2 of the 3 required battles in this level. But we can go further. The Hammer Bro is a bit weirder to dodge, as he is taller than the Spike. He also doesn't throw his attacks straight forward, meaning that you have to jump up into them to get the immunity frames. So instead, I figured out that by being right above him on the frame he throws the hammer, it will cause you to take practically no knockback from the hammer and will simply let you slide off to his right side, allowing me to completely skip the combats of this level. And with that, I can easily beat the level through both exits. 2-4 has literally a single enemy that is incredibly easy to dodge, so I easily grab the puzzle piece and the shaved ice. The final level of World 2 has a few tough spots for us. The first floor has no enemies, so nothing to deal with there. The second floor does have a few things that we have to dodge around though. After grabbing a scrap of a door, these mural Goombas and Koopas jump off the wall at me. They seem like they could be difficult to dodge, but you can just hug the wall and dodge everything. Then there are 3 spikes trying to hit you as you cross some sinking sand. But you can just stay low in the sand to not get hit by any of the spike balls, and then when you get up to them, you can just walk below them to get past them easily. The last hard section to get past is just these 2 guys, but if you kite one backwards, you can then just go around him. Finally, we have the boss. The normal way to defeat this guy is to allow him to rise out of the ground over the course of 4 turns, and then you can smack him 4 times with a baseball bat to deal like 240 damage. But why would I do that? I have music and a gun. I do, however, use the shoes on him again just because. Again, I didn't learn anything from that last boss I did. So after boomboxing, stepping on the pokey, and then shooting him down, we get our next royal sticker and another page in our album. Our next stop is 3-7, where we can buy some more of the secret door stickers. I'm gonna be real, I kind of forgot to mention, I've been using these for like a bit. That's how I got the water gun earlier. The door stickers allow me to grab the hook thing to use in my next battle. Speaking of which, I run to the harbor with a pair of scissors to do some things. We use a light bulb to grab the steering wheel of the boat, and then actually use the stickers to free the ship from the dock. As we begin to leave, we get stopped by a big Cheep Cheep. This guy is slightly off the ground, so a Pow Bingo doesn't get us any damage or a crumple. But I'm gonna be real, that's like the easiest one for me to hit, so I just always hit it. I am, however, able to first strike this guy to get a bit of extra damage, and then bring him down to 49 HP with a flashy jump. This puts him into his next phase, where he goes into the water. So I hook him out, and then I shoot him with my water gun. Oh yeah, he's a fish. Makes sense that a water gun wouldn't work on him. What am I doing? Okay, well instead of that, I just go get another Infinijump and use that instead. After defeating the Cheep Cheep, we're able to reach worlds 4 and 5. Earlier, while we were at Sniff It or Whiff It, I got a radiator, which I used to clear out all the snow in the surrounding area. I also grab a scrap from a melted ice cream cone and then end the level through both exits. After this, I head to World 4-2, and while there are no required fights here, I do grab some more max HP and then head to the Enig Mansion. And this place is hilariously awful for this challenge, because there are 100 boos that we have to collect throughout this level. Thankfully, it isn't like 100 different battles, but you know, we're about to add a lot of turns. There are still a decent number of battles that are just single boos, meaning that each of those will take a bunch of extra turns just because it's a bunch of individual battles. These single boos are in the fridge, in the safe, in the painting, in a trash can, behind the stairs, inside a clock, behind the toad by the fire, in the garden, and out by where the end of the level is. That's 9 extra turns from just these individual boo battles. All of these boos are easy enough to take out in a single turn by either first striking and using a regular jump sticker, or by just using a shiny jump sticker. There is also a single boo getting bullied by some scaredy rats, which is easily defeated with a burn hammer. There are 3 more boos in this room carrying a bunch of stuff that can also be defeated with another burn hammer. Then, there are the 5 boos in the disco room that I can take out with a flashy shell. Finally, we have the 82 stack of boos that were in the cupboard, but I'm able to use one of the 2 Infinijumps in this level to defeat them in a single turn. Finally, after getting all the boos into a book, I can go and defeat the big boo at the end of the level. This boo has 100 health, but that means it's the perfect time to use the second Infinijump from this level to deal 100 damage with a single sticker. And so, we beat him in a single turn. This allows us to grab the required painting at the end of the level, and then we can head to 4-5. This level is honestly one of the harder ones in this challenge, as it requires a lot of dodging to take as few turns as possible. You see, this level involves us going up on a ski lift with a ton of enemies trying to hit us or enter battle with us all the time. There are 3 sections of this lift. The first is fairly easy, as it just has a small amount of fuzzies coming after us and a few ice bros throwing snowballs at us. You can easily knock the small number of fuzzies off the lift by bouncing them off, and even if you do get hit by the snowballs, it just does damage and doesn't even put you into battle. The second area is a bit harder. The fuzzies are more prevalent and are way harder to fully knock them off, as you can't get them all in a single bounce. This would be an issue, but you can also just swing yourself to either side to dodge them, as they only ever go right down the middle. The last section of the ski lift is absolutely the hardest. There are a bunch of Paragoombas that jump at you, and you have to make sure that you dodge back and forth to dodge every single one of them. This is much easier said than done, however, as there are a few of these Paragoombas that come in very difficult patterns, like these two right here. They come almost one after another on the same side. They are just spread out enough to not allow you to hang all the way to the left for the duration of both of them. But they're so close to each other that there's like practically a frame perfect amount of time for you to go back and forth to dodge both of them. It sucks. As you get near the end, the Ice Bros become more prevalent as well, making it difficult to carefully dodge the Paragoombas, as you also have to worry about the Ice Bros and the Snowballs. But as long as you play perfectly, you can make it through without ever entering a battle. It just sucks. At this point, I need to prepare for the Chapter 4 boss, but on my way back to Decalburg, I run into Bowser Jr. Honestly, I kind of forgot that he was here and was not fully prepared for him. Thankfully, after a few failed attempts of defeating him, I figure out that I can use a flashy hurl hammer to deal 33 damage plus an extra 30 damage by exploding the bob-ombs that he's holding. Then, I can use the fan to deal another 35, and finally, finish him off with a few hits from the Hop Slipper. With Bowser Jr. defeated, we can now prep for our final battle of the chapter. Oops, that was a bit of a spoiler. Yeah, 4-6 doesn't have any required battles for us other than the boss. There is some practically required damage to take unless you did what I did in my damageless video. Go check that one out, by the way. But besides that, I have finished my preparations and head into the battle against the Bowser Snow Statue. I begin the battle by using a boombox to double my damage, and then I use my favorite combo of the high heel and the water gun to kill him. Oh wait, he has a lot of phases. Yeah, so the Bowser Snow Statue has 4 phases, and he will only swap between phases once a sticker use is done. And you might think that I could do all the damage required to him to finish the battle quicker, but the health bar actually stops about halfway down each set of 100 health, meaning I can't actually deal the finishing blow until I get to his final phase. The phases are absolute requirements to finish this fight, so I quite literally have to take 2 turns for this fight. So after taking out 2 of the phases on the first turn by using a boombox and then 2 powerful stickers, I take out the last 2 on my second turn with an oven and a fire flower. This again gives us another royal sticker and also another page in the sticker book. Okay, I have way too many pages in this thing now. Finally, on to the final world. World 5-1 has a decent bit of stuff for us. In this level, we have to get 3 puzzle pieces from these 3 different spear guys. While the fights against these spear guys aren't difficult, getting to them is. Both the spear guy in the middle and the spear guy on the right have a bunch of other spear guys that are around that are just pretty freaking hard to dodge. And to top it off, the tall grass slows you down, and that doesn't make it any easier. I was able to fully get past the spear guys in the middle section on my first attempt, and then I defeated the spear guy with the puzzle piece with a simple jump sticker. Although shockingly, I was able to completely dodge all of the spear guys on my third attempt when trying to move the spear guy on the right. And even better, this shy guy jumps into a man-eating plant and dies, meaning I don't even have to enter combat with it. Oh yeah, arbitrary mention of this stupid block. Worst thing in this entire game, I swear, oh my gosh. Finally, the spear guy towards the left is in the garbage dump, where that block should be. I kind of forgot to grab a vacuum for this level, and while I could just sit here for a while and try to find him without a thing sticker, check out my obscure mechanics video for more random stuff like that, I decided to just leave. And so I grabbed the vacuum from the pier and clean up. After I slap hammer the guy away, I grab the piece, place all of the pieces, and finish the level. And then the next 2 levels have literally no battles that I need to do. Like, the only battle here is if I accidentally run into one of the spear guys at the end. The one thing in these levels is I do make sure to grab the Mega Flash Infinijump at the end of 5-3. 5-4 is the Chomp Ruins, and I can easily go through this level without running into enemies. There are absolutely a few that may be a little difficult to get past, but nothing that's required. I also make sure to grab the Infinijump sticker that you can get in this level before continuing through. And we reach near the end of the level, except there's a problem. This Chain Chomp. When battling a Chain Chomp, you can't actually kill them. The way you deal with the battle is by breaking their chain connection outside of battle, and then having them wake up and attack you, causing them to leave the fight and enter into a cutscene where they either leave or die. But here's the issue. These guys have 3 turns of the sleep status on them, meaning you have to wait 3 full turns for them to wake up. That's really slow, but there's actually one way to wake them up earlier. If you go get the trumpet thing from 1-6, you can turn it into a sticker, and just like with Wiggler, you can use it to wake up the Chain Chomp on the first turn of the battle. This allows us to continue to the end of the level and then go to 5-5. I start this level by freezing over the volcano and then making it a bit further in. But before heading too far in, I make sure to grab a Mega Flash Burn Hammer, which is going to be very useful later. Other than that, there isn't really anything else to talk about for this level, so let's get right on to 5-6, the boss level. At the beginning of the level, Kirsty gets eaten by Petey Piranha. This means that we have lost access to the battle spinner until we get her back. Thankfully, I don't think that matters too much. We do, however, run into the issue of having a Chain Chomp that we have to deal with again, except this time, he is awake, meaning that we will have to put him to sleep first to actually activate the needed cutscene. So this means that on turn 1, I have to use a Ba Hammer, and then on turn 2, I have to run away from the battle. I have to do this so I can smack the post into the ground and free him for the cutscene. And so, that means that even though I can still just use another trumpet sticker to wake him up in a single turn, this one Chain Chomp takes 3 turns total. This leaves us with the boss of the chapter, Petey Piranha. Sadly, this guy is a pretty solved fight. And by solved, I mean that it's solved in a bad way, like it's gonna take a few turns. Statuses always go away in a single turn against bosses, but if he gets crumpled, it keeps him on the ground with his exposed belly button. The belly button lacks the normal defense buff that the world bosses have, and actually makes him take twice as much damage as normal enemies. But since we don't have Kirsty, we can't use a battle spinner to get a free POW block. This means that I have to take a full turn to only use a single POW block. This knocks him over, and while I can absolutely do enough damage to one-shot him, he has 2 phases. Since Kirsty is inside of his belly and I have to get her out, Petey always gets left with 1 health no matter how much damage I deal, so that he can spit up Kirsty. So, on my second turn, I use the Mega Flash Infinijump that I got from 5-3 to just take out his entire health bar -1 and knock Kirsty out of his stomach. Finally, with Kirsty back, I use the battle spinner to get access to more stickers and hammer Petey to finish the battle. This gives us our final royal sticker and our 8th page in the sticker album. This allows us to cut into the mountain above Decalberg and find Bowser's floating castle. Then, I go and find Wiggler, who has turned into a flutter. With his help, we're able to reach up to where Bowser is. But before reaching Bowser, we have to go through Bowser Jr.'s final level. The level itself isn't too hard. The only part that could be difficult is these 2 rocky wrenches. But if you take damage from them in the overworld, you can just use the invincibility frames, jump through and past them. So, we were able to reach Bowser Jr. and enter into battle. Honestly, I thought that this battle would be really easy. I didn't have any cool thing stickers like my gun for this fight, but I did have 3 Infinijumps. And like, this guy has 300 health, so that'll be easy. Except, apparently his 3rd phase just doesn't take damage from Infinijumps. I genuinely do not know why this is the case, because this phase is supposed to have him lose the boss armor that the dome previously gives him, but he just gains armor against Infinijumps specifically during this part. After discovering this, I instead used the intended method to defeat him. And by intended, I of course mean using 2 Infinijumps and then using the tail sticker to knock back 2 spike balls at him to do the last 100 damage. With Bowser Jr. defeated, we have 2 final battles to do, Kamek and Bowser. So let's beat up Kamek. You might think that this fight would be hard. You'd be incredibly wrong for thinking of that, but you could think that. It's one of the easiest fights in the game. All I have to do is get a triple bingo, use 2 slippers on the first 2 Kamek clones, and then use a big slipper on the last Kamek. Yeah, so easy. And now, we have our final battle, Bowser. And this guy is actually a lot. He has a ton of phases, so let's take them one at a time. On the first turn, I hit a POW bingo to do just a little bit of damage to Bowser. It didn't really matter though. Then, I immediately used the boombox because at max power, it gives double damage for 4 turns, which is the exact amount of phases that Bowser has. I then used the teapot to kill all the little enemies and a slap hammer to make sure Bowser takes enough damage. Bowser then runs away and blocks himself with a womp. But this is very easy to deal with. Normally, you would just take out the Womp with some hammers and a pair of scissors, but instead, I'm going to use an Infinijump to just kill it with a single sticker. Then I equip a boot sticker to keep Mario from taking spike damage, and use a Mega Flash clone jump to put Bowser into the next phase. This has him go to a lava pit surrounded by Potaboos, but we can use these to our advantage. If we freeze them with some shaved ice, I can then use the fan to blow them into the sky and have them fall down onto Bowser, dealing enough damage to put him into his final phase. In this final phase, he has a Chain Chomp friend that he throws at us, but by using the tail sticker, I can knock it back at him and immediately end the fight. So 4 turns total. But that's not all we have left. Bowser comes back in his Royal Sticker powered form for one final battle. On the first turn, I make sure to deal a decent bit of damage to him to make him go into the next phase. I do this with 2 Hop Slippers and a Water Gun. If you don't deal enough damage, you would have to take multiple turns before you gain access to the Kirsty sticker. But since I did deal enough damage, the Kirsty sticker is now available. So on my next turn, I use it, and seemingly skip Bowser's turn. And here's the thing. Based on my stated rules from earlier, Bowser's turn never came and went, meaning that we are still technically on the same turn. So, after getting 5 whole sticker slots from Kirsty, I equip a shiny frog suit to get plus 34 to all of my attacks, and use a Mega Flash Chill Hammer, a Mega Flash Burn Hammer, and another Mega Flash Burn Hammer to defeat Bowser once and for all. This brings our final turn count to 53, almost half of what is required in Paper Mario 64. From what I know, there are actually a few glitches to get this total down to 49, but I chose not to use them for this challenge. The world with the most turns taken was absolutely World 4, with a total of 16 turns. Second place was World 5 with 9 turns, and World 3 and 6 tied for third at 8 each. The funny thing is though, World 4 got hard carried by the Enig Mansion, with 14 of the 16 turns coming from just it. The remaining 2 were from the world boss itself. Finally, here's a map of all the levels that required no combats at all. They're marked with the X's. Yeah, there was a lot. Anyway, just wanted to remind y'all that y'all should totally subscribe and maybe even become a member if you want to support my channel. And thank you for watching.